Yeah, first of all, I thought, both teams played extremely hard. I thought our guys were really focused the last 48 hours, coming back off our road trip and just really locking in on the scout. Can't thank the people of Youngstown enough. 6,000 fans. Has to be the biggest crowd of the year in the Horizon League. So just the all the little kids coming and the job that Chris Sumner and John Vargo and our whole team, our whole athletic department to create that is really, really neat. All the bands here today. I thought it was just awesome.
Jerrod, how important was this game for you guys today, coming off that loss at NKU to get this one here today at home?
Well, here's the thing. I try to explain to these guys, you cannot lose tiebreakers, right? So if there's a 4-way tie, 5-way tie, heck, it could be a 6-way tie for some place, first, second, third, fourth, whatever it is. If you get swept by that team, they hold the tiebreaker. So try to educate them on that. But everything was going to start and end with our defense. That's where we're at with this group. We talked about it. If we guard, we can beat anybody in the conference. So I thought we sustained it for the full 40 minutes from start to finish. Everything starts with Warwick. I think you have to lock in on him. Great respect for him. They run really good actions to get him open. So we wanted him to, really feel our presence, not only on the ball, but in the gaps. And I thought our kids carried out the game plan. Yeah, just learn from our mistakes down there. I thought we made a lot of critical errors in the first go-round, right? It seemed like forever ago, but, when you watch the tape and you really, dissect it, we were right there. We had chances to win that game and not making excuses, but I think a lot of them were errors. So just make sure that either EJ, Johnny, or our other players – really, really did a good job of forcing him right, running him off the three-point line, arriving on the catch. When he drove the ball, see a group of players. He's the leading scorer in the conference. The kid's an awesome player. He's their all-time leading scorer. So, I've seen it over and over and over again, what he's capable of. So, great player. Yeah, we've had it all this year. We started, in our scrimmages with David Wilkerson with the ACL and now JB and, Gabe. And, it's just one of them years, right, that we're having to deal with a lot of injuries, nagging things. So we're hoping to get these guys back for Thursday. The reality of it is it's 31-game season. So guys like Emmanuel and EJ and, Johnny, all those guys on that bench are critical. They've all won games for us. I thought EJ Farmer was the player of the game tonight. Our coaches, kind of pick it real quick after the game. We have a standings board, and we give the marker to the guy that we feel gave the best effort. Sometimes it's not all about scoring. It's defense, it's rebounding, cutting. Thought EJ was great. I thought Emmanuel was awesome. John Lovelace don't have a lot of stats scoring, but his defense on Marquez Work was awesome. His length, his toughness, going after every rebound. But Emmanuel's going to get better and better. He's a young player. The more he gets experience, eventually we'd like for him to shoot out on the perimeter, very similar to what, Adrian Nelson did last year coming over from Northern Kentucky. In our system, our forwards shoot threes. So that's what we want. We want him to be able to do that. So we got to keep working with him. Right now, he's a lob threat on rolls, but defensively, he's tremendous.
With the shorter rotation with Postgame and Jerrod being out, how did you guys have to kind of manage that foul situation? Because by halftime, you had 5 players with 2 fouls, and then both Ziggy and Imam picked up the third and fourth pretty quickly.
Yeah, Neil, it's funny. In our coaches meeting, we talked about that. Coach Falk and I talked about that. We met on our offense today about what things we wanted to run and that sort of thing. And, one of the things I said is we get in foul trouble, we're going to have to play Johnny, at that forward position. Sure enough, credit to NKU, they're a physical team. They're big, they're long. LJ Wells, all those kids, Trey Robinson, Atijeray, they're big and long, and they really post up. So, We don't see that a ton, right? Usually one player does it. They have 3 players that do it. So it gave us a little bit of problems, but I give our kids a lot of credit for just being resilient. And nobody's really talked about us, right, Neil? Like, Green Bay's the darling of the league, which rightfully so. Sundance Wicks is my vote right now for Coach of the Year. Noah Reynolds is probably my vote for Player of the Year now. There's some other games. Oakland has had a heck of a year, so far. But, you're hearing all about all these other teams, right? I tell our guys, let's just stay in our lane. Let's do what we do. Won the conference last year, and we're in first place right now. Nobody's talking about us. So, you go out the next 2 games, and you got to earn people's respect. But there's tremendous belief inside our locker room for what we're doing. And what we're doing right now is really guarding. We got to do that again 2 more times this week. Thursday at Wright State, great opponent, 90 a game. And then certainly Coach Kaufman's group in Fort Wayne score about 88 a game. So it's going to be our defense again. It has to travel, starting Tuesday. We'll take off tomorrow.
Coach, you mentioned Thursday at Wright State. How have they changed since the first meeting, and how have you folks changed since that first meeting?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. The way this league is going, we're actually playing teams for a second time before we've even played teams for the first time. Very strange this year. I don't know if I like it or not. So we kind of know what they do. They know what we're going to do. I got to dive into them tonight, tomorrow. Trey Calvin, Tanner Holden, Brandon Noel, AJ, they're good. I mean, this team is experienced, can score. So we've got to get healthy. We got to get some bodies on those guys because their front line's really big. It's really about staying out of rotations with them. They're great cutters. How we've changed is we've really played better defense.
Speaking of the defense, one of the things DJ mentioned was that they kind of felt a little bit disrespected after both 10KU games, given what the opposing coaches were saying about the defense that you guys do.
I didn't know DJ was going to bring that up. I thought that was between us and the locker room. Listen, I got great respect for Coach Horn. I know their assistant there, Count. I don't know the other 2 guys. A lot's been made of that. We've had 3 guys from their program and, that sort of thing. The reality of it is it's the transfer portal. There's going to be guys that leave my program that I'm going to have to coach against, right? This is what, the NCAA, this is what the players wanted. And I think it's great. I love to have the freedom to go into a portal. And, part of the reason we took these guys from NKU is because they've won, right? So I have a respect for what Darren Horn's done in their program. That being said, I think, after the first game, there was some comments said about our defense. As a coach and as a staff, you use things as motivation whenever you can. So was that used as motivation? Absolutely. Was the message heard and carried out by my guys? Absolutely.
Coach, the next ball game is going to be in February. Over the past 2 seasons, you're 12-5 in February. Is February basketball a little bit different the closer we get to March?
Yeah, it's funny you bring this up. We just talked about with our group January basketball. Basically, when you look at January and February, it's league play. It's time to win. It's time to step up. A lot of teams fizzle out. A lot of players fizzle out. 31 games is a long season, so what happens is a lot of selfishness. That me syndrome kicks in, right? So our whole culture is we over me, right? And we over me, means a lot. It means putting your team first. So that's why we've been able to win. We've had tough kids, but we've had guys that have had the right mindset of thinking about others before themselves. And if you do that, you create an environment where you're going to get better and you're going to have a chance to win meaningful games in January and February, and that's what our guys are capable of doing.
Coach, great crowd today. I mean, when you got here at YSU, was this kind of days you dreamed about bringing back to Youngstown?
Yeah, I used to drive through this city all the time. When my son was at St. Joe's, he lived with his mom, so I would drive up from West Virginia. I would make a 3-hour trip to see all his basketball games. Tuesday, Fridays, because in Division II, we played a lot of Wednesday, Saturday. So I got to see all his games. It was a lot of driving. And I would always drive through here, and I would stop sometimes to eat downtown. Followed Coach Slocum, followed their program. When the job came open, it certainly intrigued me because, when you think of Youngstown, it's sports. It's such a prideful city. We have so many friends right now that we've gained in the last 7 years. It's a special place, hard place to describe to the outsiders that don't live here. We have a stigma against us, and I kind of laugh. But 6,000 fans, you see what we're capable of. We do have some more home games. So, hopefully everybody that was here comes back. But yeah, when I took the job, people said you can't win, that sort of thing. You just put your head down, you grind, and you have to have complete, you have to be aligned from the president to the athletic director to the marketing team to the SID to the trainers. We have good alignment here, and that's how our program's been successful. The alignment, the players, the mentality, and the fan support. We're 11-1 at home. It's hard to come in here and beat us. We got to keep it that way.
Have you had a chance to speak with new president, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah. I've talked to Bill one time. He was touring the facility about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I heard he was at the game tonight. Very supportive. And then I actually met him the second time. He spoke to the athletic department and had a really good message about athletics. So, yeah, I met him twice.